So I've had a few people in the comments ask the difference. And actually, I've had lots of customers over the years ask what the difference is between single stage paint and a two-stage paint, basically. Single stage paint, base clear. Base clear is your two-stage paint. What's the difference? How come there's two different things? What the hell's going on here? Nobody knows. And why would you know? Why would you care, right? I mean, my wife doesn't know. She barely knows now. But I mean, and she don't care neither. So anyways, I thought, I don't know if there's 1,000 videos out there addressing this. Couldn't say, I never looked it up. I just thought I'd throw one out there too. Why not? I'll jump in the pool with everybody else. Come on in, the water's fine. So anyways, the meat in the sandwich, single stage versus two stage. The single stage paint is basically, it is, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, it's liquid color. You mix it with a hardener or a catalyst. You load it up in a spray gun. You spray it onto the car. We won't talk about all the work that you got to do to the car before that. We're just talking about these top coat liquids. You load it in a paint gun, you spray it onto a car. Basically, it is color with a hardener in it and maybe some reducer. Put it on a car, goes on your liquid color. It hardens up, it cures, it stays shiny, it's hard, it's your paint. Bada bing, bada boom, you're done. End of the fairy tale. Two-stage paint is something that they started coming up with, I don't know, probably in the 80s, I guess. And what a two-stage paint is your color itself is your base coat, basically. And it is very thin, piss thin, like water almost, color that you put on. But it don't stay shiny, it goes on and it's flat. And then so after an envelope of time, then you go in and you spray a clear coat on top of that. Now your clear coat is pretty much the same for all intents and purposes as the aforementioned Killa. Only it has no color in it. It's clear, just pigment. Or there's no pigment in it, sorry. The color has pigment, this is just clear. Same gig, though, you mix it with a catalyst, a little bit of reducer maybe in it. You go in there, you put on a couple, 2 or 3 coats over top of your base coat color, and that's what gives you the shine on top. It cures, stays shiny, you die, end of the fairy tale. Cool, hey? So that's your basic difference. Now, one of the reasons that might not make sense as to why they done this is over the years, with the single stage paint, now it's all mixed together, and in order to get a nice shiny surface, the material has to go on fairly flat so that it reflects. So the mechanics of it is that you got to spray this goop on there. Now to get your nice colors that look nice in the sun, your metallics and your pearls and your golds and your silvers and that kind of stuff, you can get that stuff to a certain degree in single stage paint. But you can get that stuff times 1,000 in base coat paint, in two-stage paint. Biggest reason being, and now I'm saying this, this isn't stuff that I've Googled. This is stuff that I know from working with this shit for the last 35 years. When I started doing this stuff, I mean, we still use lacquers. So I've seen the evolution of this kind of stuff, and I've sprayed the majority of the paints out there. And I've been to the Sickens technical courses and the PPG updates, and I've been to the RM, and I've been to the. So I'm not saying pat me on the back, I'm just saying that I didn't just Google this shit up to make a video. Okay? In fact, I didn't Google up nothing. So I might be wrong on some of this because a lot of this stuff is just shit that I've figured out in my own noggin over the years. And some of it's stuff that I've been told, and some of it is just shit that you just learn while you're doing it. You just pick it up and you just figure it out, and then you just got to do it. Unless you're just a body man and you don't want to paint. I'm getting off course. Never mind. Just, God damn it. So anyways, now the mechanics of it is the single stage paint, so it is a thicker product. Think of it like your base coat is milk, and your single stage paint and your clear coat, they're pancake syrup. Okay? How's that? So in your pancake syrup, in your single stage paint, if you're putting, to make a color up, to make say a blue, Well, blue's got a few different colors in it to make a certain shade of blue. It'll have a little bit of yellow, a little bit of green, a little bit of red, a little bit of whatever. You got to put them colors in there. And then now to get your nice sparkly paint, your metallic paints, well, there's got to be a silver metallic added to it, which is just teeny tiny little bits of silver paint, but it's in chunks, basically, for lack of a better phrase. It's chunks. They get mixed in there. Now, when you put your single stage paint on, which is your pancake syrup, it goes on fairly heavy and it sits there and it's liquid for a little bit. So while it's liquid sitting on there, these chunks, the metallics, they sink. And on the sides of the car, they still sink as well. They move around in that paint while that liquid's sitting there. Like if you pour pancake syrup on, you can watch it and it moves around. Well, it does the same thing on the vehicle. So you are limited as to the effects and the fanciness that you can do with a single stage paint. It's very limited. Back in the 80s, when everything was either just metallic or flat, that was fine. But now in the 1000s, where everybody wants their car to look like Saturn or look like, well, holy shit, I don't even know what. They want it to look like a stinking mermaid cartoon or something. They want you to go pull a seashell off the floor of the ocean and look at it and go, I want my car to look like that. Well, cut it out. Anyways, that's kind of the gig as to why base coats started coming around, because people are smart. They're a hell of a lot smarter than me. People came up with technologies and stuff to start making all this different shit to put into paint. Well, you couldn't do it in single stage. Well, what do? Well, we make a product, the base coat, and we make this stuff so thin, but we make it strong, we make it deep, we make it the product thin, but we put so much meat into that sandwich that you can take your white base coat and put it over black, and that sucker turns white in 2 coats, that it covers it. Right? I mean, there's a lot of shit going on in there. So what that does for them is now it takes that paint layer that you're putting on and it makes it very thin. So everything stays at the top and it dries fast. Yeah, the single stage paint, you put it on there, 10 minutes later, that coat of paint is still wet. You put a coat of base coat down, 10 minutes later, you can go in there and you can have sex with a monkey on the hood because it's dry. Don't have sex with a monkey. Jesus, where did that come from? I should edit that out of there. Anyways, 10 minutes later, base coat is dry. And it is so thin that all this fancy, all the toilets and sinks and everything else that you put into that paint, well, they're all sitting there on the surface. Now that gets into the reason that these things look so cool is because the light hits all this different shit and it reflects in different directions, and all this shit is different colors. So when the light hits all these little tiny bits in that paint, it shows a different color. When the light hits that red pearl, it shows a little red speck. When the light hits that silver metallic, it shows a little silver speck beside the red speck. You know what I'm saying to you? And when you cover a whole car like that, well, then you got now you got your seashell off the floor of the ocean stuck on the side of your car, because the light is hitting all of these different things that they've put into this base coat paint, 2-stage paint, and it is so thin, and again, all the shit that's in there is on the surface, so it's reflecting and you're seeing it. In the single stage paint, you can put all that shit into single stage paint, but it's going to disappear into the paint, you're not going to see it. That's the bottom line of why there is the two differences, and that the base coat came along later, just basically with technology. Right? Like I said, people are smart. I know that computers do shit and everything for everybody nowadays, but somebody still needs to tell that computer what to do. Son of a bitch, computers. So now that's single stage and 2-stage. Are you feeling me? You get it? The single stage versus the 2-stage. Now to throw something else in there, now there's 3-stage paint. And the stages in the discussions is basically each stage is a layer of product applied to the car. Single stage, only 1 layer of product, your shiny color. 2-stage, 2 layers of product, your base coat color and your clear coat. 3-stage, 3 layers of product applied to the car. Your initial base coat, then your second stage is generally a translucent base coat. which is piston color, toilet water, right? You look into a blue toilet, what you're seeing is the white porcelain behind that blue water gives you that light blue color. That's a poor explanation, but that's a good explanation. Same with pancake syrup. You take a pancake that's kind of browned and mottled, you know what I mean, after frying it, and you pour syrup on it, and you get the different colors coming through the syrup. Same with staining wood and using the wood grains. You put different stains on top of wood, well, that different pitch of a stain hits the different wood grains, and it turns out wood different colors. This 3-stage base coat for a car is the same thing. It goes back to candies, custom candy colors in the single stages. So somebody, a smart son of a bitch, son of a bitch, the people are smart, and I'm just a dumb dink in comparison. So way back when in the 60s, some smart son of a bitch, because I don't even think they had colored toilet water yet, somebody thought, what happens if I paint my car gold, and then I take some red paint, and then I cut her down with some clear so I can see through it, and then I put that see-through red over top of that gold. So they done that. And what happened was, holy hell. So they would wind up getting kind of a copper color, because you're putting your see-through red over top of gold. But the gold has all these little bits and flecks in it, the metallics in it. So the sun goes through that red, boop, hits the gold and the metallics, and then that stuff reflects, boop, back through the red again that you see. And then so you don't get the sparkles in it because the red dulls the sparkles down on the top. But what you get is just that, I don't know how else to explain it, but that candy effect. So that's when they started doing it. That's when somebody come up with that. And then now your 3-stage base coats is the same idea, only it's with your piston water now. Now you're putting down, and I mean, sometimes it goes the opposite. Sometimes to do a 3-stage color, like I know Honda has a red that's not a metallic, and I don't know why they got to make it 3-stage. I remember when I was painting on the floor, it pissed me off when I seen that color code, because god damn it. So what the car was it was a certain color of red, and then there was a translucent red sprayed on over top of that, and then it was cleared over that. And how many coats of that mid translucent red you put on changes the color of the top coat. And all 3-stage colors are like that. But the majority of 3-stage colors are going to be, let's take the sparkly whites that everybody likes, the pearl whites, the Ford Platinum trucks and the Cadillac Escalades and all that shit with the pearl whites on them. So what you do to make that color is you paint that vehicle white, just pure white to start with, and then your second color, the 2 of 3 stages, is a pearl that's mixed with a base coat clear, a clear binder. And it's mixed in there, and you stir it up, and you can see right through it, but it's just a rainbow of sparkles. So now your second coat is however many coats of this piss pearl it takes to put on there to match the effect that you get. And then in the sunlight, you got the pearl on top of the white. So that's a 3-stage, and that's what all 3-stage colors are. It's generally applied to as a ground coat, base coat. Then it's your mid coat, base coat, which is going to be, we'll call it your effect coat, your mid coat. It's going to be a mixture of metallics, pearls. Most often it will be a mixture of a pearl and metallic and some colors to give it a shade. So you paint your car, I don't know, purple, your ground coat, and then you take this reddish, pearly metallic color and put over top of that purple, and then it winds up turning your car a dark ruby red what's this bob, I don't know. They're a stinking pain in the ass on a car that's been painted that way, and then you got to go back and you got to service something, because the way your color matches all depends on how many coats of these colors you put on. So it's a guessing game. Like you see them spraying out on TV, you see them spraying out cards and color mat, and stuff, and they got 6 of them laid down on the car, and every damn one of them's a different color that you can see. They're all the same color. It's just different coats of that mid coat applied to that ground coat gives you those different colors. So then you got to figure out how many coats it was to there to match to there, and when you do that, it still ain't going to match. So there. But like I say, the technologies in the 2 and the 3 stage paints is crazy. So what they've done, listen to me stammering along. Are you following this? Are you getting seasick trying to listen to me talk? It is crazy to me what they can do with these 2 stage paints. So these smart snamama bitches, again, they have figured out that if they take these particles, the pearls and the metallics, and even some color particles, what do they call that when you add, I don't know, different companies have got different names for all their shit. But so somebody has figured out that if this thing reflects light like that, well, if we change the shape of this particle, it will reflect light differently. Right? I mean, now it's not just powder. Now it's powder that each molecule of powder has a certain particular shape to it to reflect light. And I mean, these molecules, I mean, they're smaller than the head of a mosquito's pecker. That's pretty small. And yet, they have a design and a shape to them that's so small, so small. A good example of that, now I don't know the company that makes it. I think it's RM maybe. It's that color shifting paint, you know, where you see a car and in this light, the car is green. And then if you turn this way, the car turns orange. Or the car is purple. And if you turn this way, the car turns yellow. As the light changes, the whole car changes color. Now, I learned how they do that. And again, these are some smart snamama bitches that do this. So, like I said before, they change the size, the shape of the particle of color. Oh, it's just so damn small. It's stupid. But what they've done to make that color shift paint, now is they have made all the color particles shaped like a triangle. They're not just a little speck of paint and whatever. They are all shaped like a triangle, little pyramids. Little teeny tiny mosquito pecker pyramids. The pyramids are the different colors. And then what they will do, now this is the crazy part, is when they make that little pyramid pigment for the paint, they make one side of that pyramid heavier in that particle. Can you believe that shit? So the red pyramids are heavier on this side. The green pyramids are heavier on that side. So when that pyramid hits the surface, of course it hits and it goes heavy side down, right? That's the way it's going to go. So then it stands up, and on that pyramid, the paint is on a certain side. The color, the pigment. Weird, I know. Sounds like a fantasy, but that's what they do. And now on your green pyramids, they hit heavy side down, but the green is on the other side. And they design this so that when they hit, the colors are facing the opposite. So when the light hits it from one side, you're seeing the green side of all the pyramids down the side of the car. As soon as you move around, now you're seeing the red side of the pyramids and the color changes. Isn't that crazy? That's just, like when I learned that, I took the information in, but when it was explained to me how they did it, the technology behind it, I just thought, oh, what a waste of time. Like what the hell? How much time did that take to figure that out and then to be able to manufacture it? And all that stuff comes into play when you're charging $1,100 for a quart of base coat. Look it up at how much that color shifting paint is. I'm not even joking. But in that money, you're paying for, I mean, holy shit, how many years did they spend trying to figure that out and perfecting it? And that's what somebody did day after day, is tried to figure this out. Then when you figured that out, then you had to add this to it. Then you figured that out and figured that out. And I just think, and then at the end, I don't like the stuff myself. A lot of people do like it. A lot of people think it's the shit. And I mean, everybody likes what they like. Myself, I think it's too circusy. Like when I see one of those cars that shift colors, I mean, I could see it for like an accent stripe or something kind of cool, but like a whole vehicle. I don't like circuses, and they just look like a circus to me. But anyways, that is one of the benefits, that color shift, of coming up with a two-stage color where your effects and your paint can stay on the surface of the paint. versus your thicker single stage where it sits on there liquid for too long, then your effects disappear into it. Now, I'm not saying that they cannot come up with something in a single stage paint to give more effect and to give better colors, but they don't. I'm sure they could, but they don't. And a lot of single stage paint has kind of gone by the wayside due to all the regulations and all the rigmarole and all the bullshit that really is bullshit at the end of the day. So I really don't know what else to add to that. I guess that's it. I mean, I'm by no means am I saying that I know everything and I'm the smartest knife in the drawer. And I mean, there's people out there, holy hell, there's people out there that know more than me. And feel free to correct me on something, to whatever, like hit in the comments, because I mean, it would be good. I think people should read the comments, not just to read your own, but read what other people say, because I read all the comments that people put on all my videos. I sit there sometimes on my phone, I scroll through, and sometimes I sit at the computer and I read them all. And there has been people there's lots of people who have made points and shit that I might not make and pointed out stuff to me that I don't know. And I mean, you read the comments. Maybe you can pick something up too. There's lots of information out there. There's lots of people a hell of a lot smarter than me. And like I said, I don't know if I'm one of 8,000 people that have made a video on this kind of stuff, but I've been asked by enough customers that don't know. And there's been people who have commented on videos where I've painted something. Usually it's if I paint something in single stage and I've done a video on it, somebody leaves a comment, I don't know the difference between single stage and two stage paint. Well, there's my explanation of it. I don't know if it helps you or not, but that's what I got. So if you watched up to this point,